All right. So how you doing today? This is Angelo again, back to talk about healing and overcoming all of the effects and symptoms of disease. For me in particular, it has been a journey to overcome brain cancer. An oligodendroglioma brain tumor is what I was diagnosed with in 2013. Here I am over 5 years later and realized that it wasn't just the brain tumor that I had to heal from. It was a lot of other emotional and lifestyle disease, I suppose I could call it. With any sort of healing or curation, it's a process. It's ongoing throughout our entire life because life is, in fact, suffering. It's the suffering in life that makes life beautiful. It makes those moments in life when we are away from our attachment to suffering that much more appreciative, appreciated. We have clairvoyant experiences. We are in our spiritual self. I never in the past would have ever thought that I would be talking about spirit or energies or vibes or things of that nature because Angelo from, excuse me, seasonal allergies. Anyways, I would have never thought that anything that was hokey like that would ever be involved in my game because when I was 20 years old, I was never going to live to be 40. Now I'm here 43 years old and I'm still coming at it every day, kicking and screaming. I still have just as much passion for life as I ever have. Sure, I don't have the resilience that I had as a young man, but I'm still young enough, and there's still a lot of love left in this man that has a lot of joy to offer himself and the world. So I want to share some of the things that I have learned, and maybe they apply to you. Maybe they don't. Maybe you're not at a point in your life where you want to hear this. Maybe you are. Maybe this is what you're thirsty for. So I'm going to share a few things with you that I hope can help you. I've been looking back on some of my old videos because I received some comments on some of my older videos when I had no hair. I had just gone through chemotherapy and radiation and a lot of allopathic regimens that I was into. And I'm still taking medication for epilepsy. I've wean myself down on some of those, and it's been a gradual, incremental process. But all things in time, just stay persistent. If you keep your head focused in the game and your eyes on the prize, there's nothing that you can't accomplish. It's just desire and passion and your own manifestation of what you want to accomplish. And I completely believe in that. I think we all know that on some level, but I also think that we're all in some way lazy beings, especially in our society, because we have a cognitive process that we all continue to cycle through because of our I don't know, maybe it's our tie to technology, maybe it's our tie to convenience culture. I don't know what it is, but it still makes it hard for me. I've talked about just briefly in the past. I'm going to get a little bit more into is meditation and how meditation is so essential. Meditation can be a term that scares people, but meditation is kind of like being back with oneself, reflecting upon oneself. And we often don't take enough time to go inward. We're often going outward. We're looking for outward stimuli. We're looking for a phone, a television, a computer, even a book or food or some kind of a thing that releases a little dopamine drip in our brain to fulfill us for a moment. And when that moment's gone, it's on to the next thing and to the next thing. What meditation offers is an ability for us to go within and find an openness within ourselves so that we can let answers and thought processes and just the sort of fluidity of our inner selves just kind of come out. Because when we're distracted all of the time, we really don't have time to sit with ourselves in the way that meditation allows for. So I think that meditation is very important. I think that people often, such as myself, I'll use myself as an example because if you're someone that struggles with this, welcome to the club. You're not alone. But I think people sit down, close their eyes, they try to do the breathing process, follow their breath, and a moments later they're like, I'm getting up, I can't do this, that's good enough. Or it's just like anything. You hear this so much when you hear people talking about meditation. It's like a muscle, you have to flex it. You go to the gym one time, you lift a bunch of weights, you're going to go home, feel sore, and you're not going to see much for your work. It's just going in and doing a little bit every time and gradually increasing the work. And eventually, it's like learning anything. Eventually, practice makes improvement. And I'm saying this with the intention that by saying this, I will stick to my own practice because I'm a newbie in my own right. And I don't think anyone is a master at anything because there's always room for improvement upon anything for anybody. Maybe people are masters. I shouldn't say that, but I mean, there's always room for improvement. So once you think you have something mastered, there's always another step up. We're all susceptible to falling down, but that's okay because, like I said, with suffering as being a part of life, suffering teaches us lessons. There's no failure. There's only learning experiences. And if we take those losses as such, then we will continue to grow. I've tried multiple types of anti-epileptic drugs. I've gone to multiple doctors, physicians. I've done chemotherapy and radiations. Chemotherapy, those are extreme things to try because you feel desperate at certain points in your life. Desperation can breed a lot of bad decisions. I'm not saying that radiation and chemotherapy are bad for everybody, but I know that in retrospect, there's other ways that people can handle things that are less allopathically minded. Now, and that's not to say that a lot of what Western medicine has to offer is not beneficial for people. But one thing I noticed about Western medicine is that Western allopathic medicine tends to focus on symptomatic solutions bit by bit. You have this problem, take this pill. You have that problem, do this one thing. Whereas with a more integrative, holistic approach, which for me means like Eastern medicine, I think that integrative approach can really bring a more fulfilling solution to it. A pill's not going to solve it. Just going to the gym's not going to solve it. Just changing your diet's not going to solve it. Just staying in bed longer is not going to solve it. It's again, integrative approach to it all. So mindfulness is something something early on that I knew was a part of the equation, but I really didn't want to delve into. Now, there's things that I'm still really fascinated with that I really want to get into doing, and I know I need to do. My wise self, if you get into like your wise self, which means some people call it their gut, their heart, a part of you that just knows what's right and wrong for you, knows what's good for you. It feels good. You feel good doing it, but it's work. Your wise self knows what's up. It knows what's going on. And if you listen to that and follow that lead, you'll get to a point. I've gotten to a point where I'm definitely noticed the growth. Am I where I want to be? Hell no. I'm not even close, but I'm getting there. I believe in the process, trusting in the process. That's what I wanted to say earlier. Just trust in the process. And you know when you're on the right path because you can feel it in every bit of yourself. You know that you're doing the right things for yourself. A a lot of this is generalized speak, but I know avoiding screen time is something I need to work on. I'm on my phone and I'm looking at YouTube videos way too often. Now, a lot of it is learning. It's like going on to find self-help, growth videos about how to do this and how to do that. And the internet is amazing. Technology is amazing for this, but it's also a great waster of time. You go down a loophole. YouTube videos, get into politics, get into movies, get into distractions and memes, and you know what I'm talking about. Facebook is a great example of this. Instagram is a great example of this. Twitter is a great example of this. But everything has an upside. I think the downside on a lot of these distractions outweigh the good, but if you can be strong and harness these tools, reading books is amazing if you can stay focused. Spending time alone with nature and with yourself, pushing yourself to do new things, to reroute your neuro pathways, definitely induces healing. If you keep playing out the same day over and over, like my videos, same background, I need to do something new. This is a sign to myself. I'm not just preaching. I am also hearing my own words and attempting to manifest something new in my life. And this is a step forward for me. Right now, it's July 2nd, 2019. We'll see where I am in the future. I looked back and saw where I was in 2016. Hair gone, radiated away, squeaky clean. I knew I had a positive journey ahead of me where I was going to have to work hard. I had no idea that it was going to be the way it was. Not all of it was bad. Some of it was blissful and beautiful. And one thing I want to emphasize before I leave, and I thank you for letting me go on a few tangents here, and I really appreciate you watching because it means a lot that if this means something to you. Is trying to step away from my ego. It's impossible because we all need our ego to survive. But our ego stifles us in so many ways when it becomes a part of blame outward. I am a victim. I can't. It's not that you cannot. It's that you choose not. Everything in our life is a choice. Now, granted, we don't choose to be born with the color of our skin or our sex or our gender or whatever. We are, in certain ways, born with a certain genome. But how we influence those variables is completely up to us. And we have so much control over how we can play the cards we're dealt. I mean, we're dealt a whole deck of cards, and we can do what we want with that deck. Really, we only have 52 cards. We only have 4 suits. But within that, and I hope this is an all right metaphor for what I'm trying to get at, is that we have so much more control than we give ourselves credit for. We like to say, well, my boss, this, my job, that, my health, this, I have this condition. I'm going to put myself in this box. I'm disabled. I'm oppressed. Granted, I know of my privilege. I am so aware of it, and I'm grateful for what I have. But love for self, not ego, but love for self and gratitude is a way out of disease. And I might not always believe this. I'm feeling an inspirational moment a lot of the time when I make these videos. I usually don't get on here and start making videos when I feel like life is challenging and I'm really discouraged. But underneath all that discouragement and frustration, there is a light that has not extinguished itself, and I don't anticipate it will, because I am steadfastly inspired to continue on. And I hope that if you are someone who is in pain, suffering, disease, cancer, brain tumor survivor, whatever it might be. I hope that you keep that light sparked and you do everything you can and learn as much as you can. But don't crush yourself with pressure to do too much too fast. Just keep going. And if you don't make it the first 5,000 times, try 5,001, because life is worth living. Believe me, it is. And those beautiful moments between all the suffering, that's what life's all about. That's the sweet spot right there. And yeah, thanks for listening. I hope this made some kind of an impact, but if it didn't, you know what? It was therapeutic for me to get this off my chest. So thanks a lot, and I hope you have a beautiful day. This is Angelo saying peace.